Hey everybody, Blaine C. Bank here, Commission Worldwide Church. We have Seven Springs Vineyard, and have we got a word for you? These are mustardine grapes right here. These are not ripe, but if we move on down, we got some that's already ripened. Got a little bead there, and we got these grapes right here. And at Seven Springs, you can pick them. I think it's $5 a bucket, and all you can eat. Look at that. In the Bible, there's a story about the Israelites going to the Promised Land, and that when they got there, they said the grapes were so big, it took 2 men to carry them. God promises always seem like they're impossible. God gives men dreams, He gives men visions, and He inspires men to do great things. The wonderful thing about it is that He's still inspiring men today. But at the same time He's inspiring men, there's many people turning from the faith. I had a call the other day from a young man. He said, I'm just gonna get right into it. I said, okay, go ahead, son. Because I baptized him. And he says that he's gonna cut off the Christian faith. That he listened to a lot of people, a lot of things online about Jesus and the Christian God. And he said he's gonna cut it off. And I said, well, how old are you, son? He said, and he was surprised because he wanted to know what they had to do with it. He said, I'm 23 years old. I said, yeah, I was 19 when I had a crisis in my faith. Yeah, I was 19 years old. Where I no longer wanted to follow the Christian God. I no longer wanted to abide by the rules of my father, my mother, the preacher, and the religion of that day, that I didn't want to have anything to do with it because Jesus became a stumbling block. One of the things about Jesus becoming a stumbling block is that the principles of Jesus and the principles of the kingdom of God was getting in my way of having sex, was getting in my way of drinking, was getting in my way of being drunk. It was getting in my way of being conniving. It was, and he was getting in my way of living my life. And I was 19 years old, and I wanted to live my own life. I was out from the reign of my mom. I was on my own. I was in the Army down in Fort Bragg, and I wanted to live my life. And so to live my life, me and Jesus couldn't partner up. So instead of being convicted, one of the things I did was to forsake the Lord. And I knew that this young man, he finally got on his own, finally got a job, finally got a car, finally got from underneath his mama's rules, my rules, the church rules, and he wanted to explore life all on his own. And I get it. But I don't think when I was talking to him that he thought I was gonna be so blunt. That the reason why you wanna reject Jesus and the church is for sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Plus, there's a lot of other reasons why people reject Christ, right? They call it a white man religion. They say it can't be one way to God. But basically, underneath all that reasoning is that you find a man who does not want to submit to the things of God, who does not want to submit to God and His rules. But this is what I found out, and this is what I told him, so I am confident that one day he's going to turn back. And that is, when I got away from God, when I got away from the Christ, I made some of the most dumbest decisions of my life that I'm still paying for at 65 years old. That the mistakes and decisions I made away from God scarred my life. Thank God for the healing of the blood. But yet there's consequences when you don't follow the principles of God. And the reason's simple. God made the earth. God made the planet. And when you look at these grapes that embedded in the DNA and how are they developed, is God. God is not a grape, but these things was formed by God. Jesus said, I am the vine and you are the branches. And apart from me, you can't do nothing. And I want you to look at these grapes right here. See how healthy they are? See how vibrant they are? See how they're full of nutrition? This is a Christian life right here in front of us. But if I was to pluck this off right here, this thing will wither and this will die. That's what the Christian life is. Jesus is the vine. Jesus is the vine. And through Jesus, you get connected to the Father. The nutrients of the Father flows up through Jesus into each Christian life. And look at all this life here that's on this tree. Each one represents a Christian life. Each one represents a soul. Each one a nurturing from God. But if you take one right here and you pluck it right here, if you don't consume it immediately, it will fall to the ground and die. And that's how life is without the Lord. Without the Lord, wisdom, you make wrong decisions. Without the Lord wisdom, you're going to marry the wrong person. Without the Lord's wisdom, you're going to buy the wrong car, and there's going to be a limit. Without the Lord's wisdom, you're going to live in the wrong place. You're going to pick, because it's only by the wisdom of God can you succeed on this earth. By the power of God in a person's life. So I understand this young man wanted to explore his options. Of course, God knows that too, or he would never tell us the story of the prodigal son. But the thing about the prodigal son is that he came back. Some of you out there are far from God. You're far from the things of God. You're far from the things that you grew up on. And you're dying because you're not connected to the vine. And your life is not robust. So, beloved, very simple exhortation today. Do you love the Lord? Do you want to be vibrant? You want a good life? Return back to the principles of God. Return back to the ancient landmarks that was laid by the fathers. And go through Jesus to get to the Father, because it is the Father's wisdom and the Father's love that propels you and move a person forward no matter where they at. It's through God's grace you get delivered. It's through God's grace that you get off drugs. It's through God's grace you get through abuse and get reconnected to God, because He's the only one that has life. Hey, I'm Blaine C. Van. God bless and peace out.